I'm glad you're here with us for this weekly devotional. I want to look at one short passage in at the end of Ephesians. And so often we find ourselves and we think about or we face difficulties. In Ephesians 6, the 10th verse, he says, "Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might." And so often we read this passage and we think, maybe it's too difficult. I don't understand everything that he's saying. I'm not saying that I understand everything that he's saying. There's so much here, and sometimes it becomes difficult to get a hold of. But I want to read the passage, and then I want to just put forth some short ideas about what it means. It's the easiest way for me to look at it, and I may miss some of the finer points. But I want us to think of this as simply as I can for just a moment. He said, "Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against the flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over the present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in heavenly places." Quite simply put, we're facing that one who is called Satan and his workers, the evil that abounds in the world. But the things that happen, he said, we're fighting against those powers in heavenly places, that evil forces in heavenly places. We're fighting against something in spirits that we cannot actually get a hold of ourselves. Seems difficult enough in itself. But that's the reason he says, "Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might." Think about what the strength of his might was. He said, "Therefore, take up the whole armor of God that you may be able to withstand the evil day. And having done all to stand firm, stand therefore, having fastened on the belt of truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and as shoes for your feet, having put on the readiness given by the gospel of peace. In all circumstances, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all flaming darts of the evil one. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying at all times in the Spirit with all prayer and supplication." Then he says, to that end, keep alert with all perseverance. And he continues on about making supplications, praying for those, all the saints, and also for those who were teaching the word of God. Paul says, even for me, that I might present the gospel. So take the truth, or take the word of God, knowing through Christ I can stand before God. That's that righteousness. I can't stand before God on my own. It's only through Christ. He makes me right. His blood has cleansed me. But it's given me the forgiveness of sin and that knowing that there is an eternity beyond. Being ready to speak the truth of God's word. Look to God knowing that God is God and that he cares for each of us. That he's willing to give us the strength. He's willing to give us the abilities to do and to speak and to stand in his word. If we're willing to give ourselves over to him, he's willing to give us everything. If we seek him in faith, knowing God is God and he is there for me, that we might risk or that we might resist the adversary, that we might resist Satan, that we might resist the evil that lives in this world, that belongs to this world. But being able to resist it because we know that we belong to God and that he is faithful, he is ours, and we are his possessions. He cares for us. And then it says, but having the knowledge of the word. That means I have to take that word and I have to study it and understand what it means. That I might be able to withstand, that I might be able to see that God is God. that I might be able to take hold and say, even when times are difficult, I'm growing in Christ. I'm standing firm. I can look to him and know that he is a Savior. I can look to God and know that he is faithful. But he says, having the knowledge of the Word, seeking. This is where this prayer and supplication comes in. Seeking that I would have the wisdom and the understanding to use it in my life. Knowing that I might have the wisdom and understanding that I could set it between me and Satan and say, you can't have me today. Because I belong to God. I belong to God. He says these things to have the wisdom of the one who speaks the words. God spoke the words. They were written by many men, but he spoke those words to those men so that we might have the strength and we might have the knowledge of who he really is and what he can genuinely do for us and of that home in heaven that he has prepared for us. Seeking, seeking to look, ever look to him. But this knowledge of the words is important. The knowledge that he gives us, the understanding through that wisdom that he offers us, will give us that strength. It gives us the advantage over Satan. Not that we're worth anything, not that we can accomplish anything, but that God himself is there to fight the battle. He's there to fight the battle. If we're willing to go to him, if we're willing to seek him, oh yes, we have to fight. We have to stand firm. We have to resist. It's all within our body, but God gives the strength. He gives us strength through his word, through prayer, through faith, through the examples that he gives us in his word, that we see those who were able to stand firm and to resist evil. He said, through all this, keep alert. Be ever watchful. Be ever watchful. Sometimes the reason Satan destroys us, or the reason Satan overcomes us, is because we're not watchful. We're not paying attention to what's going on and remembering that God is always there, but that Satan is always before us. And when we see that, when we know that, then we're ever aware of the evil that abounds, but we're also dwelling, staying within the Word of God continually, staying within in that remembrance, knowing who he is, meditating on the words, and staying firm in him. You see, the only way to keep alert and stay ever aware is to be aware also that God is with us. Be aware that God cares for us. Be aware that he's ever present. Be aware that he's ever faithful. The only way we can do that is through the Word of God, knowing the Word of God, meditating upon the Word of God, praying for the wisdom that he would give us everything we need to resist Satan. I want us to think about that because sometimes it is so hard. I also want us to think about the power of God. If God can work and raise Christ from the dead, he has all the power that he needs to assist us and help us and give us comfort and strength to face Satan and the evils of the world. I hope that you will take that with you this week, that you will think about it. And when you face something, you can think about, I know who God is. I know what the Word tells me. And go to the Word, read it that you might resist. But begin to take that Word in. Begin to take it to heart. Begin to meditate on it and know that he is ever present in your life if you seek him. I want to thank you for being here today, and may God bless.